YouTubing's like hard and stuff. This takes some time to get this crap done. I don't put out a lot of videos real, consecutive, because I just get busy and forget to film anything. And that's going to be evident in this video. When I went to the track Thursday night, it's Saturday now. I went to the track Thursday night to make some test passes after kind of completely revamping my clutch strategy. I kind of hit a wall with it, and that's where I've been struggling. Last year was all over the place with like the, trying to do like no prep type stuff. I just never got good data, and I was gaining no ground. It was like just beating my head against the wall. The only thing that was making the bike run good numbers was just brute force. Even if it had a shitty 60 foot, which most of them were recently, it makes good power, so it would just run it out and it would run a decent ET. And even though last year it did make a lot of progress as far as, just about every time I took the bike out, it did do a best. It'd go a little better here, a little better there, or this was a new best for that. So there was always progress, but it always struggled a little down low. And I got lucky when it was a nitrous bike with the same clutch. I got lucky it did what it did. I just stumbled into something that happened to work. The track happened to be just right, the tire and the shock, everything just kind of came together, and I just was luck, is all it was. Stumbled into something, I didn't know what it was, and it worked. But anyway, this year, obviously you saw in the previous videos the stuff I've changed over the winter. It was nothing major. I switched to methanol, so the injectors, I made the fuel tank and the swing arm, and whatever. There was a few other things. I don't even remember what I've all done to it. It's been so like spaced out. But nothing huge. Motor was still the same. Same turbo even, same boost ramp. But this year I knew I was gonna go out and basically just test. I don't really care to make any events. There's one race I'm gonna do, but that's about it. I'm just going for best evers. I'm trying to put the fun back into running the bike, and I'm not chasing nothing or trying to prove anything. That's why I'm going to show you the ET that the bike runs. I know I don't really share a whole lot of that before, just because that type of thing, it's either gets people really stoked to see it, or it just causes drama, and then everybody's talking and whatever. It's never really bothered me, but I would always just kind of keep things to myself. But I figured this year I'm just going to have more fun with it and show more of what the bike's actually running. So I was out 2 weeks ago on, I think it was a Thursday night, and again, I had struggled with the clutch. I made one like 770 pass, and that was after it had spun. I got in and out of it quick, caught it, ran it out, went like 770 something. The next, I made 4 passes that night. One was a complete accident. I ended up going like 830 and felt like a turd. Only ran out 5 gears, and get back to the pits and find out that I accidentally went into the ECU and I deactivated the boost increase output. I had fat fingered it and didn't know it. All I wanted to do was I was trying to set my regulator for the wastegate pressure, high pressure side, and I went to activate the output for boost increase just to bleed some pressure off, and I didn't see I turned the output off. So when I made that pass, went like 830 at like 167 on 4 pounds, was just on wastegate spring. So I thought something was wrong, but it turned out it was just me being a dummy. So anyway, the other 2 passes I made that night, it struggled. It was spinning the tire. Excuse me. Spun the tire, and then a couple of the, I think I posted on Instagram or whatever, a still shot, one of the runs where, front end came up higher than what the wheelie control could catch, or faster, I should say, the wheelie control could catch it. And I lifted. It was just a violent mess, just up and down and whatever. So I only made one like halfway good pass that week, and I decided, I'm like, I got to figure something out. I'm in left field here. Everything's between the clutch, the tire, the shock, power delivery. Everything was just going all over the place, and I freaking was chasing my tail. And like I said, the only thing making good passes was just because it makes decent power. So I had reached out and started asking some questions to Ethan Barkley, Canadian Pro Street champ. That's who I bought my clutch from. And when I bought it, he told me, if you ever have any problems, any questions, go to him. Don't be, fishing around and getting 13 different opinions. And I've asked other people kind of what they do, but never really dug into like I need your tune-up kind of deal. And it turns out after talking to Ethan, some of the ideas that I had were changes I needed to make, only he basically reassured me that the amount of change was okay. I wouldn't have got to where he got me to as fast. I was leaning and going in that direction, and my mind was working and seeing things in the data log, and was going the right way. But I was seriously, it's freaking throwing the lever on a bike that makes, whatever, 400 or 500 horse. Just throwing a lever away is a little bit freaking nerve-wracking sometimes when you don't know what the clutch is going to do. And I've been making small changes and hanging out in the same RPM launch area, boost launch area, kind of keeping everything down low sort of the same, and I would waver one way or the other and see how it reacted, and it just didn't seem to be changing. And it wasn't horrible, but it was horrible for a hand slider bike, let alone a turbo bike that makes good power. And I knew it could go better, and I was getting frustrated. So it was actually taking the fun out of it. I take that back, it's still fun to ride. But so I reached out to Ethan, and I was sending him some pictures of my data logs. He doesn't use the Fuel Tech software, so he just was looking at just rough things. He wanted to see, what the RPM was doing, what the boost was doing, and what the timing was doing, just to kind of figure out how happy is the bike on the leave. So after talking to him a little bit, I made a pretty big change, and it was actually enough to make me like really frickin' gun shy on the first pass I made just this past Thursday now, or 2 days ago. So after that first pass, this Thursday, after the first pass it made, after the change that I was basically scared to make, I would have kissed Ethan on the lips if he was here the way that bike left. And I'll show that time slip, and I'll show a little bit of the data log, kind of what happened, and I'll post the video. I don't really have any video from the track Thursday of like just doing the pit stuff and going through everything. It was busy. My helper was on the starting line most of the time, and he's the one that got me the video of the bike leaving. But I was just busy, and I was trying to document everything. I'd make a pass, I'd pull the clutch apart and measure. Make a pass, pull the clutch apart and measure. And I was trying to keep track of what it was doing, where it was staying, and keep it in that window so it would be, it would reproduce the same numbers. And I'm not some professional freaking team, but I just had to slow myself down and take a step back and keep track of what I'm doing and stop making like panic adjustments and trying to get up and get to the round or get to the lanes and make another pass quick make a change, and start losing track of everything, and then all of a sudden shit's scattered all over the place. So I knew Thursday night was going to be slow going as far as making passes. It wasn't going to be an 8 to 10 pass kind of night. So I just was making passes and recording and seeing how much was the clutch wearing, how hot was it getting, what do the fibers look like, is it smearing some, is there debris in the basket. Just watching, getting data, and learning. Like every time I go to the track, every time I do something with this bike, it's still a learning experience. If you think you know everything, you're an idiot. And I don't like reaching out for help from other people because I don't want to bother other people. There's too many assholes in this world that they don't want to buy anything from anybody, they don't want to spend any money, and they're going to ask 20 different people their opinion on something. There's like 3 people I work with, and there's only 3 people I really go to for straight up help. I talk to other people and we bounce ideas around, but when I need help, it's 3 people I go to, and it's the same 3 people I've always been going to. And I think my loyalty to them shows in the amount of help that I get from them. So that's like, it's invaluable. When you buy something like a clutch or an ECU or something from somebody, buy it because not as it going to help you, but buy the support. Buy it from somebody that is going to be there for you. And it's freaking worth it, and it's paying off now. And I'm finally, basically bowing down to, I was making the clutch work on my own and doing good. And even with the ECU, I do pretty good on my own, but I get to points where I need to talk to or get info from somebody that has done more and been faster and done better. I'm not the know everything fastest guy on the planet. There's always somebody faster than me. There's always faster people everywhere. I'm just Joe Blow doing it, trying to go as fast as I can go. So after that pass, I'll put that video in here so you can check this out, and then we'll look at like the data log from that pass, and I'll kind of show you what was going on. So we'll check that out now. So like I said, not hiding anything. There's people faster than me, but like I said, first, this is actually this is only the 5th pass I've made this year on meth, and you can see it was a decent pass. The bike still runs really good, but all that bullshit that was going on in the front half, still mile per hour was down there, and that mile per hour was way down by like 20. But I was just so happy with how well it performed down low that I think I wasn't really even paying attention to how the rest of the pass went. But that's the time slip from the first pass. And see the 131.60? Like I said, that's not a great 60. You know, considering turbo bikes, hand sliders, all that. It's just how the bike pulled through the 60 that I'm most excited about. So I'll show you that video from that pass. But watch how it, like, the shock actually kind of acts like a shock a little bit. Watch how it plants the tire. The chain actually, loops down. It's kind of cool to see what the chains actually do on these bikes. But the tail drops, it hooks, it picks the front tire up, and it carries out about 30 feet. And then you can hear the short shift and stuff after that. But I'll show you that video now. Okay, I'm going to show you what's going on here. See, I got it labeled up here. Meth pass, new clutch. I didn't focus on that. My hand's out of the way. You can see it. So anyways, this was the first pass after making that clutch change, and this will show you exactly how fucking scared I was launching this thing, not knowing for sure what was going to do or if it was going to even work. So you can see here, this brown line, that's my TPS. Green line is RPM. The color is that purple line here is just boost. So you can see I got a real gradual ramp in it right now. This line down here is my drive shaft curve, which is basically, it's the front sprocket. So it kind of tells you more or less like rear wheel speed, sort of. And it'll tell you if the bike is spinning the tire, what's going on. You can see how down track it was getting a little jagged. But look at all that's going on here. I'll show you the video. This was not the best 60 foot the bike has ever had, but more importantly, it was how the bike left and how it acted. I get my hand out of the way. Freaking focus is going stupid. Let me get my stick pointer here. Is this better? I don't know. Is this better? I don't know. But anyway, so the TPS, you can see when it hooked, the RPMs jumped, clutch caught it. It hooked and it brought the front tire up, and you'll see in the video. It only brought it up about 2-3 inches and carried it out maybe like 30 feet, but it scared the shit out of me enough, and I ain't too proud to say it. I didn't know how it was going to act or if wheelie control was going to catch it. I lifted, and to show you how much, where's my cursor? There it is. We'll just move it over here to this pocket, this dip, right there. Yeah, I chopped it to 54% throttle, and then clearly I got back into it slowly. That's a shift right there. I shifted second gear, then I got full throttle. These couple dips here, it might have been my wrist twitching, could be just anomalies. Odds are pretty good my wrist was twitching. But I shifted from first to second at right about there, at about 9,100 RPM. The bike goes to 13.2, so that was a bit of a short shift. That's how hesitant I was on this thing after it left. It left so good too, and I should have just stayed in it. But I shifted second gear at 9,800, and you see they get a little better. I shifted third up here. Tire's starting to spin and chirp around a little bit. About 11.7. That was still short shifting. I never saw the shift light on this pass. Right here it peaks somewhere 11.8. But you can kind of see, oops, wrecking shit. You can kind of see how jagged it was down track. Starting line was good, down track. Different things are going on. Maybe the track wasn't so great down there. It was a pretty cool night, but the important part was the first part of the track was actually really good. And you can kind of see that in the drive shaft curve. The tire was actually stuck pretty good. Looks like a peak there. It was probably a little bit, chirp or wheel spin on the shift. And same thing here. Shifted into third, probably barked the tire. and then it starts kind of, you know how it goes. But anyways, that's what I'd show you. That data log is how messed up that was, that initial hit, and how it's okay to be a little scared of your motorbike. But that pass was, oh, this one too, I lifted just a touch early, like about 7.2, 7.3 I lifted. And I'm gonna take this view off now, and I'm going to show you the time slip from this pass. But yeah, I just wanted to show you what that data log looked like from that. Like I said, it wasn't so much, I'll show you the 60 foot. It wasn't awesome, it was good, it was better. But it wasn't so much the number as much as how the bike acted. It actually pulled clean, or pulled smooth, and I could tell it wanted the motor, and more power is going to fix it, and that's where we ended up with on the second pass. So I'll show you that time slip. So hopefully that kind of quick breakdown of pass number 1 was at least kind of enjoyable to watch, an explanation on kind of what's going on, what I'm working with. If anybody wants to see more of like looking at the data log stuff, like I don't mind showing that stuff. I struggle to be like fast at it, but my brain works so freaking scattered when I'm looking at data logs, trying to figure out, you know, what's doing what. Okay, there's a dip here. Why did it have that dip? And I'm looking at timing, and you're looking at throttle, and looking at boost, and looking at what's the shock doing, and you know, what's the tire doing? Where's the wheel speed at? There's just so much to look at. So when you make a pass with a bike that collects as much data as something like this, during the pass, sometimes it goes by so quick you don't even realize what freaking happened. Other times, it might be middle of the pass, you'll notice something weird, or like bike will get real upset, or RPMs will spike real funny. Well, you can go in and look, and you can see, is it clutch, is it tire, what's going on, and I'll tell you kind of what the track is doing and what your bike's doing, and just a lot going on. And like I said, I'm not a freaking expert on analyzing this stuff, but if you look at it long enough and talk it around in your head a little bit, or talk with someone that's standing next to you, even if they don't know what the frick is going on, you know, their eyes might cross and glass over, but sometimes it just takes the other person to listen to what you're rambling about. And like I said, that's where like David Ligori comes in real handy for me, because I'll see anomalies or weird shit, and I'll question him, and he's right freaking there to help. And his bike still would not be doing what it does if it wasn't for him. So huge thanks to him. But like I said, that was just kind of a quick overview of that pass. It just kind of like more or less how shitty it was, but yet how good it was. There's always something to be learned, even on the bad passes. But now we'll go through, I'll show you the second pass, and this was actually the best pass of the night. I made one more pass after this. I don't think the track was as good, because it left pretty good. It had pretty comparable 60 foot from the second pass to the third pass, but in that video that I'll show you eventually, you can hear the tires start to spin maybe 100 feet out. Like, it made it through the 60 pretty clean, and it seemed like probably right before the first gear, or right before the first shift, is when it kind of struggled, and then you can hear it start breaking up, and we'll go into that a little bit later. But I think I'll show you the second time slip now, and then, or actually, take that back, I'll show you the video for the second pass, and then we'll do a little time slip breakdown, and I'll show you the data log from that. So bear with me. So here's the time slip from my second pass. You can see up here by time, you know, it took me almost like an hour to go through everything and measure and just document what I was doing. So you can see the 60 foot, all I did between these two passes was I left the clutch tune-up alone, and all I did is add 1 more pound of boost at the leave. So this was 9 pounds right here. This is a 10-pound leave, and I don't want to totally get into the boost strategy that I changed just yet. We'll see if it continues to work first, I guess, and then I'll share that info. Not like, man, I hate sounding like I'm trying to be like super secret, but I just don't want to come off looking like too much of an idiot. if this doesn't work. But anyways, boost ramp was left alone. All I did was add 1 more pound on the 2-step and 200 RPM. So you can see the 60 foot picked up, and you'll see in the video that well, I don't know if I'm going to have the video before this little segment or after, but in the video you can see the 60 foot from the first pass to the second pass. It doesn't have as much of that little pop of the wheelie when at the hit. Picks it up a little bit, carries it out, sets it down. But again, I frickin' short shifted, and it, there was a little dip in the throttle again. I got hesitant, and I lifted a little bit on the throttle and got back into it. A little less, not as bad as the first pass, but it ran pretty good through the 8th. These are all pretty much bests, all the way down to the mile per hour is down a little bit still, because I still the bike was freaking on a tear, and I ran out of gear. And I'm not going to say, oh, I lifted at 1,000 feet and sat up and coasted out, and that's what it ran. It ran out of gear by maybe a couple hundred feet. Maybe it was 400 feet. I don't know. The shift light came on to shift into 7th gear, which I don't have. So the shift light was on just a little longer than I wanted, and the dash flashes shift when that happens. And when it does that, I just see dollar signs flashing at me, because this motor, I don't want to have to replace it or rebuild it just yet, and it doesn't owe me anything, and it's been rock solid reliable. So I decided that instead of sending the thing into the limiter, I was just going to roll out of it. So the mile per hour is down a little bit, not a ton, but enough to notice that, to me, I know what I lifted. But yeah, altogether, pretty good pass. Like I said, these are all bests. It's ran pretty close. I'm not even going to say pretty close. It's a best by a good chunk. And I'm pretty stoked with that. Thursday night, my goal was honestly to maybe go a 60. Would have been nice after getting these clutch changes and stuff, kind of figured out. So this was a nice surprise, and I'm convinced a lot of it happened because, 1, it picked up good in the 60, and 2, even after I chicken winged it in first gear, I mentally had to tell myself, lock it or it's going to suck. So I went back and locked the throttle and started hitting gears. But even doing that, you'll see I was short shifting again. So this pass, if I was to go back and try to back it up, but actually just stay full throttle and hit my shifts and not be an idiot, it might have even picked up a little more. And who knows, it might have been able to stretch out 6th gear a little better, and that would have gone up a touch. But yeah, so this is from the second pass. This is the one I was pretty excited about. It would have been awesome to get that mile per hour up where it's been, or where it has gone previously. But that'll happen. I think I'm going to drop maybe 1 or 2 teeth in the back just to play it safe. But I'm not going to make a whole lot of changes to the bike now. I think I'm onto something that'll work, and I'm just going to keep whittling away at that. But yeah, so we'll check the data log out now. Like I said, I don't know if the video is going to be before or after this clip. We'll find out when I edit this stuff. But look at the data log so you can see that I did indeed chicken wing it. Launch! All right, here we go again with looking at computer screen nonsense. So again, the data log says 750 pass, number 2, new clutch. As you can see again, there's a weird dip right after coming off the 2-step. There's a weird dip in RPM. I don't know if that's an anomaly or if it actually did that, because I don't remember feeling it or hearing it or anything when I launched the bike. But you can see how much faster this thing used to have. If I left at, say, 8,000 RPM and threw the lever, this thing would spike to 10,000, 10,200 sometimes before the clutch grabbed. And then I'm going to stop using my fucking dirty finger. Before the clutch would grab and bring the RPMs back down to about 8,000, and then it would ramp from there. It was just a huge time suck. The RPMs dropped so bad it would lose boost and have to ramp from there. But you can see it's getting a lot better. That spike and grab is a lot less, and I got an idea to fix that still a little more, and I think it's going to be more power, to be honest with you. But anyway, you can see right there I was getting to the top of first, and I got gun shy. I chopped the throttle again. I don't know how to describe it. It happened so freaking fast. I don't even know how to describe how I even think to do that. But I anticipated a wheelie, so I rolled forward just a touch, just in and out real quick, got back into it. I hit the shift, then you can see I went back full throttle, and then stayed full throttle through the whole pass. But again, you can see I short shifted first, short shifted second, short shifted third. So not only was I short shifting, but this drive shaft curve, it looks real clean through here. But maybe I kind of went over this in one of my other videos. Maybe I'll go more in depth if anybody actually wants to see it. I'm kind of been playing with that drive shaft curve. I have a time-based timing feature. I have a plot basically that the bike tries to follow that curve, and because this curve was a 480 pass that was slightly quicker than the previous curve it was trying to follow. So what happened was, as it saw the drive shaft RPM kind of go above my high limit on the curve, it pulls timing. It thinks it was spinning the tire. So actually, the curve was exceeding its max limit that I had set. So it pulled 12 degrees of timing for like 3.5 seconds. So all the way out to right about here, it was still pulling timing. So as you can see, I'm already into first, second. I'm halfway through third gear before it put all the timing back into it. And actually, if I bring up timing and put a display line on here, you can reference it and see it. So that's my ignition timing. I'll brighten that up. So you can see how it left full timing, and then it pulled timing as soon as it saw. I can't display the actual plot high and low limits I have set here, but it started to exceed my high limit. You can see where it dumped the timing from. So we left on 24 degrees. It dumped it to 12 degrees, and then it didn't go back up to 24 till about 3.5 seconds out. It's back up to 23.8. So that whole first, second, and third gear was low on timing because it thought it was spinning the tire and exceeding that curve. So that's a change I'm going to make. I'm going to change my high limit to allow it to basically overrun a little farther. And I mean, it would have been good if it was actually like spinning the tire. It would have saved that pass. In theory, you know, sometimes the track's too bad to save, but the track was really good, so the bike was actually hooked, and that it was accelerating faster than it had on that previous plot I had. So this is just something I've been playing with, and you can live or die by this. And in fact, this pass I probably died by it. There might have been maybe another tenth or more to be picked up there in the fact that she was down on power, which could be why when it pulled timing, could be why it sort of slugged or lugged the RPMs down and dipped the boost a little. So nothing major. It was still actually a really good pass. I'm just pretty happy I got back to full throttle after mentally having to tell myself, hey dummy, don't chicken wing it, full throttle. Yeah, so that's the sort of quick actual breakdown of kind of what I was looking at for the second pass. I'm excited to get back down, and I think there's more gains to be made without making major changes. So now we'll go to, I don't have a data log for the third pass because it was just a horseshit mess. I looked at it I say a lot, sorry. I looked at it to see kind of what had gone on, but there was no real data to be gained from it. I wasn't going to make any air fuel corrections or boost corrections because it was kind of spinning so bad. And I'll show you the time slip from it though, and then I can kind of tell you what happened from the video. So we'll check that out. So there's the third pass. So again, you can see, you know, I had about an hour between runs. And then if you look, you know, 124, 125, again, didn't make any clutch changes. So the clutch was actually staying from one pass to the other. I didn't even swap out like any fibers or nothing. I was watching for wear because I wanted to see, from 3 passes throughout the night how much the clutch stack was wearing down, and see how much it changes like the air gap and all that stuff that I usually watch. So I was pretty happy to see that. You know, it stayed relatively close. Ideally, I'd like to see better still, but I think, like I said, but from looking at the data logs, I think more power is going to get me through that. That little wheelie tells me the clutch is locking, or not necessarily locking, but the clutch is grabbing faster than it really should. so I had more power to get it to actually slip through that. But again, it wasn't horrible. But what happened was, like I said, it got about maybe 100 foot out. You can see the 330s down too. Got about 100 foot out, and it started to spin the tire. And then in the video I'll show you that you can hear the bike. Sounds like it's breaking up. What it was it was spinning the tire, and it was trying to follow that drive shaft curve that I had talked about. It was causing that drive shaft speed to increase past my high limit, and it was pulling timing. So what sounds like a rev limiter is basically, well, kind of a rev limiter. It was basically trying to pull power out of the bike to slow it down, slow the wheel speed down. And then excuse me, I had short shifted a bunch of gears after it spun. I was just kind of banging through gears to get to the end, and kind of just rolled out a 774. As bad as the pass was, and rolling out of it, I was pretty happy to see that. You can see even mile per hour was even down by a lot from the best, but down from even the previous. But all in all, it was a good night. Between the these 3 passes, this is a world of data going on here, and it really helps me know where the bike is, especially this pass, because it was pretty much the cleanest. But it helps me know that this tune-up will still run this spin in the tire. So we're gaining ground, and that methanol is, man, what a difference that makes just in how the bike runs. It's just runs so strong and so cool. But yeah, that's the quick breakdown. So if you're ever wondering why it seems like my camera's always kind of up high looking down a little bit, I'm not trying to do like the fat girl iceberg pics. Look at me, I'm all trim looking down on my head. My tripod that this thing is sitting on, it's got detents in the legs and only sits at certain levels. So the next level down, it actually would be looking up my nose. So it's just why the camera's up higher. But anyway, I have already gone through the bike on Friday night. Thursday night, got home late, went to bed. Went to work Friday, got off work, and it only takes like a couple hours to completely go through the bike after a race night, turbo bike life. I pulled plugs, pulled oil, pulled filter, pulled clutch, checked everything out. I changed out one fiber. So after running those ETs, those whatever 60s, whatever you think they're good or not, I don't know. The clutch, I only changed out one fiber, so that's pretty good. I had to go run and get oil, so I'm gonna put oil in it now, fire it up. Oh, one thing, so I'm still using the RC car batteries, and I couldn't be happier with those. There is just freaking zero maintenance on this thing between rounds, as far as like, hurrying back and get the thing cooled off and get a charger on it or do something. It's not sitting and letting the water pump and the fan run and circulate. The methanol is not for everybody, I understand that, but for what I do with this bike, man, it made a freaking world of difference. So yeah, those batteries are still going strong. I've only had to charge them twice now since I purchased them, basically. And throughout the night, like I said, the bike will start somewhere between 15.8 and 16 volts. And after, like I said, powering the ECU up, riding the tech, riding to the lanes, making the pass, riding back on the return road, starting up in the pits if I want to test anything. Even after all that jazz, it only drops 0.4, 0.5 volts, never goes below 15. Even like cranking, it doesn't drop below 15. And then while it's running, it'll be at 15.4, 15.5. So I'm just like thrilled with how simple that whole thing went. And yeah, again, like I said, no charging system on the thing, so the RC batteries, whether they'll work on the street for you or not, I'm not 100% sure. I'd like to think they would. Can't guarantee it. I know there's people that offer different charging system stuff that'll charge LiPo batteries a little differently. So maybe it's something to look into. But right now I don't need the charging system on it because those batteries just freaking last. Yeah, so that's probably about it for this video. I mean, like I said, I wish I would have got, and maybe I'll try next time. I'll get some more like onboard GoPro footage or something of the passes and try to have some more fun with this. Just gonna keep testing and playing more and making changes, and well, little changes. We ain't gonna put this thing out in fucking weeds left field for no reason. But yeah, tag along. So I'm gonna go ahead and say we got a pretty quick bike here on our hands, and hopefully next trip out, obviously the next goal is 40s. Goes 40s, we'll go 30s. Life goal for the bike is a 690, but I'm not pushing the envelope on this. In fact, I'll show you real quick because I happen to have the laptop right now. Let's see if I can flip this around. Nope, I can't flip it around. So hold on. Just to prove what I was saying when I said I only run 17 pounds. If you look right here, that's where I'm leaving on the two-step. It actually was making about 12.7 right before I left. And then, actually I'll highlight the map so you can see the curve a little better. That dark line. So, through the two-step right there, 12.4. A little more than I actually expected. It should only be about 11. And then we carry through first gear into second, and right about here it starts to max out. It's all 18 at a peak, but it'll steady itself out to about 16, 17, 17.3, 17.4. So like I said, it's only running 17 pounds of boost ish. So the plan is to get this thing upwards of 25 pounds, and I don't think we're going to do that until shortly before winter, and we're going to find out how long this 3-year-old motor is going to last. So real quick, obviously I have to fuel the bike up every couple passes. Actually, I top it off after every pass, but I could make 3 passes if I wanted. The fuel cell holds enough, but because I try to keep it topped off, obviously I don't want to pour out of that right into my fuel cell. This is probably no secret to most people, but if you don't have one, that transfer pump right there runs on 2 D batteries, and it was at Menards, and it was $11. And it just happens to fit these 5-gallon drums perfect. And you hit that little red button and pump it right in. So maybe this is a trick for people, maybe it isn't, maybe I'm late to the party, but either way, $11, awesome. Check it out. Are you kidding me? Neighbor's mowing. His house is like 150 yards the other way. He starts mowing in my corner first. What country life, I guess. But anyway, yeah, this video is probably a little longer than normal as far as not a lot of at-track action, just some videos and pictures and me jibber-jawing. Jabberjawing. But yeah, so hope you enjoyed, and tag along. We'll make some tweaks and then we'll go back and do it again. So see if we get the old test and tune champ to run a little quicker yet. So we'll see you in the next video.